Hello, my Hannah Montana friends. This is your off scot-free podcast that has nothing to do with Hannah Montana. I am your host, Atlas Scott, with your co-host. I'm also technically a co-host. Other hosts.
Olivia Scott.
But the better host, Olivia Scott. Welcome back. This is March 29th, 2026.
Which means that we've been together for a year and a half. I just realized that.
West Side.
And people are probably like, wait, you're married and you've been together for a year and a half?
We had a lot of time when we started dating. We saw each other for a long time.
Long time.
We actually did the math on that, and we technically dated for a normal relationship for about 2 to 3 years before we got married.
If not more.
If not substantially more. So anyways, before we get gypped in the comments for marrying too early, know that we did our due diligence.
Because the average couple hangs at a lot less than we do.
Anyway, on Off Scot Free Podcast, we're going to talk about something. It's the message, because it's a Sunday. We went to Hope Fellowship Church this time around, finally. We have had doing other things.
Has it been over a month since we've gone to church?
Oh, for sure.
Y'all, we do not feel good about that.
It's not fun.
We do not.
I realized how long it had been when we went, and I was like, I feel rejuvenated more than I should right now.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've heard a message right now, and this is not good.
And it's Good Friday today.
No, it's not.
I mean... No, it's not. It is Palm Sunday. Yes. It will be Good Friday on Friday.
She was skipping a couple chapters.
I'm sorry, y'all. I had the Good Friday service at the front of my mind.
That's true. That's coming up. It's coming up.
I was going to say, it is Palm Sunday today, and there are 2 services this weekend, one for Good Friday, one for Easter. So
that's coming up.
That's coming up.
But on the topic of the sermon today, what was it called? Do we have a night?
I actually wrote down so much for this sermon.
I wrote down some notes.
So,
quick notes.
So this was their 4th week, which says something because I'm sorry, Willow I can't even explain it.
That.
Anyway.
Willow ran into a wall. Anyways.
This was their 4th week of this series, but we haven't been here.
This was the first time for us.
Yeah. So. But it was called Practicing the Way. And it was, this message this week specifically was from Aaron Alexander at the East Campus. Mm-hmm. But basically what it talked about was how you choose to live your life on a day-to-day basis. It really matters in how fulfilled you are.
What a shock.
Yeah. Yeah, which is...
Would have thought.
It's like, well, yeah, but it's like, how do you want to spend your days so that you can have the life that you are supposed to have that will be the most fulfilling as a Christian? And then he also gave... different examples of structure you can add to your everyday life that will help change it for the better. And all of it is just to be more like Jesus. What a shocker. That is what will be the most fulfilling. But some good notes. Our current system is already forming us, whether we know it or not. Watching Love is Blind right before you go to bed is forming you, whether you like it or not.
Goodness gracious.
That's us as of this past week.
Went straight to that. Please.
Yeah. Good intentions without structure produces nothing. Love needs structure to survive. You think your love will sustain your marriage. It can't let your marriage sustain your love. So structure. And how important structure is. You want to talk more about that, Atlas?
Specifically what?
What you took away from it.
The message. Well, yeah. They had 9 points to talk about. I will go through some of them. I'll go through all of them.
The 9 points being the 9 different things you can choose to do to change your life.
I don't know.
Different things of structure.
It's based biblically, but it's not like a biblical, like, here's the 9 things that are in chapter 5.
This is not like the commandments. This is just...
It's just... It's pretty whole. It's a holistic view on practical steps to make sure that you're becoming Christ much more quickly and more intentionally than if you were to just figure it out on your own, which is never smart.
No.
Number 1, you have Sabbath, which is... I have like sub-points to these, which is rest, stop, and delight in worship, which I like. This one specifically talked about how holding a Sabbath specifically on like taking a day and being like, we're not going to do anything except rest. And rest can look like a lot of different things for you. As in not working, it helps you to be humble because you can see how the world can go on without you and you're okay. And more importantly, you're not God. So that's helpful. I like that. Number 2, we got solitude. And by the way, there's verses to each of these. I don't know if we'll write them down or say them, but they're there. We have solitude, which is recharging in intimacy with the Lord. That's what I wrote down. And it's always great just having a place to, like, I think of solitude. I like that there's a thing that I do at the end of each year. It came from an interesting place, but specifically walking around this place called White Rock Lake every time at the end of the year. And I used to run it, and I'm not a runner. I just walk it now because I like my knees. And it allows me to just kind of reflect on the year and have solitude with the Lord, and honestly just with myself, so that I'm not just like so bogged down. I'd like to do that more, but just having space to be away from the noise, I found that's really nice and helpful. It's easy stuff, but if you don't apply it, then you see how different your life can be when you do apply it. Number 3 is prayer. I think this is something that is so undervalued in our, I hate to say it, but society today, even in a Christian society that we're in right now, the Christian sect that is our society. And the subpoint for that for me was more of a conversation than usually seen as. So a lot of people see prayer as like a genie in a bottle where you just say what you want and you see if you get it. And I do that sometimes for sure. I do think that's part of it, where God says, bring me your wants and desires and I'll help with them. Yeah. Even if even if he changes those desires, he will be in turn helping you. Yeah.
But they said that oftentimes people do the prayer thing wrong. That this specific phrase that they used was monologue with an audience.
Yeah.
Which is, that's not what, you can't get anything from just speaking it out. Well, sometimes it's nice to put whatever out into the world, but if you're not actively seeking answers, if you're not listening, if you're not
actively pursuing stillness so that God can speak to you, and it's not, goodness gracious. Hey. So I don't believe I've ever heard the actual voice of God, for the record. I do believe he guides me in ways when I allow him, and really it is that allowance. Although he could do whatever he wants, I believe it comes from free will. That allows me to allow him to either speak or not speak. And whenever he, I'm sorry, Hugo's chasing Willow right now. Hey. Jeez. Prayer. I think a lot of the time we don't allow the space and the time to allow God to speak. I think God's very still and does not want to fight you. So if you ever wanted like a representation of what it kind of sounds like to God when he's trying to speak. And oh my gosh, this is all on the video camera, by the way. So like if you wanted to cut to it, we could. I hope this is entertaining to the audio listeners on some level. But long story short, I believe prayer can be a conversation. That's what the pastor was saying too, and I holistically agree with it. And I think the best prayers I've ever had is just sitting there and literally saying to God, I just want to be in your presence right now. Especially when I've come to my wit's end and I'm like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I don't like that it usually comes to that for me to be in that space. I try to be in a more peaceful space so I can get more from it. But it's helpful to have those times to have your Father next to you like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so number 4, we have fasting. And fasting can come in many forms. Usually means food, sometimes water.
Sometimes phone.
Sometimes phone. Sometimes things that you're replacing God with, basically. Or things that you believe you need more than God, which a lot of times is food. You do need food, but like you don't if you have God fully. And another sub point that I put down for that was when, not if, / teaching the body. Oh yeah, I got it. Sorry. In the verse, it's talking about like when you fast, not if you fast. And I said like when, not if. And then the other point was teaching the body who's in control. I have found, well, an actual fact is you don't need to eat for a much longer time than you think. You can actually go for days, if not weeks, depending on where you're at, body mass wise, on how long you can actually go for withstanding from eating. And I think it's really cool because although I believe God, or I believe the body definitely needs food and nourishment. I've also found myself when I can give that away, that desire or that that longing for nourishment from a physical source, and trade that for God's nourishment pretty substantially. It's there and it helps and it's great and it's clarifying of mind. And for a lot of reasons, it's amazing. I don't know if you want to speak to that or not. I'm just going down my list right now.
I'll add if I have something else.
Number 5, scripture. It's kind of pretty obvious. Another sub point, letting the words guide as God speaks. I think we forget. One little podcast clip I've seen on my feed said people say that they want to hear the like God speak and they don't even open their Bible. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty daunting right there. Because I think we forget that all these words were very much written through God's people, but with as God in control pretty heavily. And I know for me personally, I have a problem sometimes where I'm like, I just want God to get on his loudspeaker and talk to me. And God's like, if you're not even going to read my word, why would I think you'd listen?
Yeah.
And it's not like he's like saying that with like a, how dare you not read my word? He's sitting there like, no, like the wisdom's there. Like, promise, I will show you what you need to know. I will tell you what you need to know. And I think I do forget that sometimes, for sure. Number 6, community.
I also want to add to the scripture thing that they also said the more you have scripture in your mind and in your heart, the more in different scenarios, it'll just bubble up as the thing that you immediately think of. And they brought up the example in the Bible how when Jesus was on the cross, he quoted Psalms. Yeah, quoting Psalms.
He quoted Psalms. And I thought that was beautiful.
Yeah.
Because I've had a recent experience where I was talking to a good friend and it was like, I was able to just pull, like I had my notebook next to me and I was on the phone and I was like, actually, this scenario is perfect for this. And I pulled out the verse and I'm like, this is it. And I'm just kind of sitting there like, oh, this is so much cooler than just like struggling with ChatGPT to be like, what verses could I possibly need for this scenario?
Yeah.
It legitimately felt like God was like, this one right here, say this. And because it's so much nicer for me to just channel really verbatim God's word through a conversation or advice than just me being like, I think this is what God would want you to hear, but I'm not sure.
But it's like, to be the most like God, you gotta read his.
Well, that's what Jesus did for 30 years.
Yeah.
Before you started to like really do the thing. And so I think that's really powerful just in general for God's own child to be like, no, I'm going to be in his word and be there as much as I possibly can. That's Hugo. Still.
I don't know why he's being so loud.
This is the first time I've heard him talk this much in a while, if ever, honestly.
Yeah.
Hey, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Number 6, community. I think that's very, very straightforward. I like my favorite thing that the pastor said. He said, sin alone, heal together. And I have found a vast majority of the time, I don't think I've ever actively sinned unless it just was like a flub. with community that was Christ-centered. But when I am alone, for sure, it's a lot more prominent to go my own way versus like I run it past the group, or if I'm just with you, it's like it's thankfully substantially harder to stray away from God's design than with or in community versus outside of it.
Well, I know for me specifically, when it comes to when it comes to
That was a Hail Mary right there.
specifically, sorry to go here, but like sexual desires, it is completely
very
night
hard.
and day versus like being with you,
Yeah.
having you in my life constantly, not doing it alone versus having to try and navigate that by yourself.
And that sounds obvious, but
Yeah.
that's a big reason why I made sure to, next to just money, why I always gunned for roommates instead of just living on my own. I can imagine me without roommates. Doesn't look great.
Looks fun.
It looks fun for a second, because it's like no rules, no, you don't have to answer to anybody. And then you're like, no rules, I don't have to answer to anybody. Has that ever produced any life for anybody for an extended period of time? I don't believe so.
Yeah.
It's bad to be alone. It's bad for man to be alone. It's literally a Bible verse right there. Bada bing, bada boom. Number 5. Anyways, Liv's going to go check on Huster over there. I'm going to keep going. Number 7, and I love this one. It's called generosity. Another sub point. I have a sub point that works for number 7 and number 8. So I'm going to hold the sub point for number 7. But I think generosity is really cool because what I've noticed pretty recently, actually, and this is a topic we'll get into like pretty soon after this one, is finances and what to buy and what not to buy. And I found weirdly, I got into a spending mode pretty quick when we first married each other, got into this little engagement of ours. And I hit a wall at a certain point, really recently, like a week or two ago, maybe honestly last week. And I was like, I don't want to be in a bad money state. And I'm starting to value the security that good financial habits can give you, not hoarding, but good financial habits can give you versus just buying what you quote unquote want. Because there'd be multiple times where I'd buy certain things, not necessarily expensive, but sometimes expensive, where I'd sit there and be like, well, I don't know why, but subconsciously, I didn't bring this up to the conscious until it was in front of me. I thought this would satisfy some kind of desire in my head or some kind of contentment it would give me. And it didn't. And I'm just kind of sitting there like, I'm on year what of Christianity and I'm still trying to figure this out. That's dumb. But in the times where I've been able to be generous and either give money, time, gifts, she has been very helpful with me to implement that into my life, to give gifts, like actual physical gifts. I felt substantially happier to do that instead of receiving.
They also said specifically with generosity that you can't be simultaneously both anxious and generous at the same time.
Yeah, that's very true.
Which, because of that, generosity is giving more than you feel like you can.
Yeah.
And just trusting that God's got you.
Yeah.
And if you have faith and if you have trust in God, then you can't be anxious.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's
and
knowing.
So people who say, I trust God, but I just have a lot of anxiety right now.
It's impossible.
It is impossible. You don't trust God. And you can sit here and say all day long that you do, but you don't.
Well, I can substantiate that point very quickly. It's like if you say you're anxious, but you trust God, quote unquote, if you say you trust God and you are anxious, you've identified as anxious, you've chosen that route, I'll be like, all right, cool. Well, is God all knowing? Yes. Is God all loving? Yes. Is he is in all control? As in, do you believe these things? Yes. All right. So you're telling me a person or a being that is in full knowledge of you, knows your heart, knows the best things for you, only wants the best for you, and is in full control. How in the world could you actually be scared?
Yeah.
How could you be anxious?
Yeah.
It's because if you think of it, it's kind of, geez, like Willow right now is on my lap. She trusts me. Like that's trust. That's trust right there. She trusts that I'm not going to just like throw her. Actually, I'm not going to hurt her. I'm not going to make her feel bad. I'm going to nurture her. I'm going to give her a safe place to be. She wouldn't be here if she didn't feel safe with me. And if you don't see this as like a broken version an imperfect version of how God holds us, then in my opinion, you don't know who you're talking about, in my opinion. Like, you don't. You really don't.
Yeah.
Because if you're like this cat right here, this beautiful cat named Willow, and you can just be here and rest, then you can't help but you can't help but let go of the anxiety. Because to be anxious is to be gripping. I think of anxiety personally for me as gripping onto a situation or a semblance of control and being like, if I let go of this, everything falls apart. Almost like a bunch of wires, just like if I let it go, everything falls apart, which is always a lie, for the record, which is why I like the Sabbath one, because it proves to you that you're going to be okay if you take one day to truly rest.
Yeah.
Assuming you were working the other 6.
That's the crazy thing about it, is like they all work in tandem.
Oh,
like,
it's
truthfully.
fruits of the spirit, you know? It's
Yeah.
just different versions of it, I'd say.
Yeah.
Call it paraphrases and more practical steps instead of being like, be all loving and everything. It's like versus like, literally take Sunday and just don't do anything, which I love personally. I don't know if you have anything else to generosity, but on number 8, you have service. And the subpoint that I wrote for both 7 and 8, and specifically for service, which I didn't realize service was going to be the next one until I wrote down. He said, it came to mind where I say specifically, we are not here to be served, but to serve. Not my quote, for the record, just something I always have in mind when it comes to service. And I find that to be very true. I've never felt more satisfied or more content than to serve anybody, including her. There are many times where I've been able to serve her and I feel substantially better. Small little thing, filling up our waters. We have 2 Owalas, and we both love water. And sometimes we'll get to the end of the night and she's like, I would like some water. And I'm like, okay.
Because I've depleted mine.
Yes.
Completely.
Or vice versa, where she'll fill up mine, or other things. Like, we can be more generous on other things, but specifically that, it's like really cool because then you have that opportunity to really serve that other person. And it's great to do that in marriage. It's also great to do that in friendships and family and just acquaintances, and to not just be selfish or self-serving. It's just better.
They also spoke on this one. There is never a time where a servant serves and doesn't get something out of it.
100%.
If you are truly serving for the right reasons, you're always going to feel some sort of gladness.
Sure.
Yeah. Contentment with what you did, for sure.
Yeah.
It just brings, I think, Enneagram 2s are big servants at heart. The bad thing about 2s sometimes is if they're unhealthy, they will do things to please people, to serve people, in expectance of that good feeling on their end. They want the praise. They want the satisfaction. Yeah. And it's like, that is a step too far. Yeah. You got to just...
Well, it's selfish for selflessness content.
Yeah, it's don't expect anything back. Yeah. But you'll feel happy if you're just doing it for the good of, you know.
It's kind of like if a parent, like almost like a most intense version of that is like a parent serving a child and expectant that they will return that favor. It's like say like they're 3. It's like, they can't do that. Yeah. You're not supposed to be able to do that. And to serve somebody of such dependence and you expect this from them is not foolish. Only it's foolish, it's unfair, it doesn't help anybody. It's just foolish. It just doesn't make sense. I do love that. I mean, I love all these, for the record. That's why I wrote them all down. And then number 9, last one, is witness. And the subpoint I wrote down for that was living that causes questions for opportunity. And I love that. It's my favorite thing. It's my favorite thing. If you do it right, as in you don't do anything, you let God do his thing, you become such a shining light that people can't help but be like, why are you different? What's different with you? What's wrong with you is usually what they say.
Yeah, why are you always happy all the time? Yeah.
It's like, why do you care so much? And obviously, none of us are perfect. And that's why a lot of people have a problem with the church, because not everybody's like this. Most people aren't like this all the time in the Christian church. And so I only ask for grace for those who are not believers, that look at us believers and they're like, what? You guys don't do that all the time. I'm like, you're right. You are correct. We're bad at this. God's great at this and perfect at this. We're bad at this. And if we can get out of our own way and let God shine through us, that's usually when great things happen. And I found the most evangelical times of my life has been where I can either tell people about my story and be very honest and be very bold with it, where people are like, they're honestly just drawn to it. Not drawn to me, but drawn to the forgiveness and freedom that they see that I found in Jesus Christ. Very different. And the best times when I serve so well, quote unquote, and they're like, who are you? What are you trying to do? What's different about you? And that's a few and far between. I wanted that to be more often, but I think a lot of people, one of my favorite evangelical pieces of advice is when, like, this guy was like, make sure to spread the gospel and, if necessary, use words, which I love personally, because it's saying, what that is inherently saying is, make sure it's just action-based and you're just serving. And if they really want to specify, if they want specific knowledge, then you can use words and, verbality at that point. But if you don't need to, and that you can just start planting those seeds in the way that God meant, I think that's a lot more effective than being like, you're going to hell if you don't accept Jesus Christ into your heart. It's like, that might be true. It's not helpful, though.
For sure.
You're leading with fear at that point. I don't like that personally.
Yeah.
I think it's great to tell truth, but don't try to fear people into faith that they don't really believe in.
Yeah.
So
they also
I like that.
Sat on this point for all 9 of these, that everybody is always chasing to fill that hole. And we always are seeking out that in different things that we do in our life. And a lot of time it's doom scrolling.
Currently right now, for sure.
Yeah. They compared that to Babylon, which was insane.
You're like, that's a little loud. Hey.
But I think about how anxious I get when I scroll,
Yeah.
because I'm thinking about all the things I could be doing.
Well, you're
but
not
then the
doing.
second I put my phone down and I'm trying to do something else, I'm just thinking about the next time I can scroll. And it's like a terrible addiction.
It's an unfortunate cycle, I would
Yeah.
say.
But
It's not great.
they said the hole that we're trying to fill can be filled with spiritual disciplines.
Yeah. When you're doing
I
the
was
right
like,
thing, you
oh.
actually find real contentment.
Yeah. So
It's like junk food versus whole foods. You just have a different experience.
if y'all want to learn more about it, Practicing the Way is a website as well as a book.
Practicingtheway.org.
Yep. Practicing
So if
the
you
Way
wanna
is
check
also
that
a
out.
book.
But yeah, all of these things, I hope for us to write these down somewhere.
Final point is exhausted disciples cannot love well,
Yes.
which
Hello.
means you have to. She's so cute.
She looked up. She's like, hello.
But
Exhausted
you
disciples.
have to. You can't get your energy and fuel from God if you don't give specific times for you to be receiving that.
Yeah.
And you can't pour into other people if you're exhausted. So
Agreed.
anyway,
That's where solitude can help a lot.
That's our soapbox. That's what we learned. Atlas was like doing that thing where you kind of draw as you're like listening to the sermon, and then he like kind of paused after like the first 5 minutes, flips his
like-
page over and just starts writing everything down.
It's like, did I hear?
He's like, this is good stuff.
It's like, this is actually, they're talking about things right now.
Yeah.
And you're like, I've been knowing this. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It was funny too, because I don't know what stopped you from or made you miss certain verses, but I could see that I was writing like the necessary things. She was getting a little bit more detailed. And
Yeah.
she'd be like, what was that verse again? And I'm like,
Yeah.
here you go.
Yeah.
I have like the cliff notes. She has more detailed, which I honestly appreciate her
Yeah.
detail on that one.
It was great.
But anyways, really good service. I liked it a lot.
It reminded us, because we haven't been to church in like over a month now,
Yeah.
how much we get out of going to church. And we're like, man, we need to.
I was saying it in the service. I guess now I'm saying it now. I meant to say it earlier, but I was like, in my mind, I'm like, we're going to need to make this a priority in the same way we prioritize work. I would like us to make sure that we don't miss unless we have to. And if we miss, if for whatever reason we're either streaming things or we're going to another church, I don't care. This is too good.
Yeah.
Is this like helpful or something like that? I don't know. I think God talks about it somewhere.
Yeah.
About church and stuff.
Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah. But anyways, what a shock. We get that reminder every once in a while. We'll try to be better. Future Atlas and Liv, you better get on that. I'll hurt you.
Yeah.
But in the spirit of church, as we've been looking for a new church, we're honing on Hope Fellowship right now. We're looking for community specifically. And we got to talk with Zach and Ashley. Zach is a pastor at Hope Fellowship, and we wanted to specifically talk about, really just connect with them because they're good friends, old family friends with her parents, have some history there, and our whole goal, or at least our ultimate goal with talking with them, was figuring out if there was community that was in similar places to us life-wise, and so that we could find those people, and so that we could be in community like that, just like number 6 is. It's just community. We want community. We haven't had community in a bit, but Italian cream cake. Sorry, my mom is contacting us about cakes right now, because we're finally celebrating my birthday with them, because we've been so busy, honestly. Really sweet. Sorry. But
she just started calling Atlas, so I'm like, I need to respond to her and tell her we're filming a podcast right now.
Yeah. So that's
sorry about that.
I'm not ignoring you, Mom. Anyways,
but we're talking about community and wanting to get in community, and we have went to this lunch with Zach and Ashley, talked heavily about our stories,
their
testimonies. Where we're at currently, how we got to where we're at, and then kind of what we're seeking out right now as well.
Yeah.
And then we talked about the sermon. They give us a little bit more backstory of their church.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that's gone down in this past week that is this past year at their church. That is kind of heavy and hard, and he was worried that it would be something that
he
would
was like,
scare
did you
us
hear
away.
about what happened last 6 months? I'm like, what are you talking about? And
Yeah.
he's like, that's perfect. Let's not even talk about it. And like jokingly, but he was like, let's just not even talk about it. And he was like, no, he explained it to us fully, and he was like, if that scares you, it's okay. You can find another church. I'm like, that just sounds like a human thing.
Yeah.
As long as you guys have fixed whatever was problem.
Yeah.
Or fixing it at least.
That's so normal.
Then humans be humans, you know?
Basically what happened is they had some issues with their lead pastor that was over all 4 of their campuses. And so right now, all of the campus pastors from each of the campuses have been taking turns kind of ping-ponging, doing messages for the entire congregation. And I've actually really enjoyed seeing the torch being passed from person to person.
I appreciate it personally.
I don't think that the entire weight of one church should be on one person's shoulders.
Yeah.
They need community too. And I think they need a day off too.
We talked about it. I talked about it like this when they were talking about it to us at lunch. I was like, I appreciate the diversity and call it like the shuffling of pastors of who's teaching, because I think if you just specify on one lead pastor 90% or 80% of the time, you get to a dangerous area of spotlighting and debatably glorifying in a way that becomes demon-like. Yeah. Like, not saying that every pastor's like this, but Satan had the most beautiful voice. So he was the leader of the choir in heaven. Probably better words for that, but that's what I remember. And I think it's imperative that it's not like those who are on the stage are not on the stage, or people are not going to the church to see that person on the stage. They're going to the church so that they get fueled by the word of God. Simply.
And they know that they can get it from there.
Correct. And so you're not just looking at the pastor that's always teaching and being like, I love Jim. I love Jim the pastor, versus I love going to Hope Fellowship and I love getting fed there. That's what we feel, and I love that personally.
I mean, what we've found is even with different people speaking each time that we've gone, it's been equally as fueling and as convicting, but not controversial.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, if I were to have my friend, like invite my friend here to church for the first time, this would be something that could potentially be offensive.
Right.
They're very neutral in that kind of sense.
Yeah.
But also very heavily convicting and like really good ways that helps build up you. And anyway, I love where they're at with trying to unify everybody in their congregation, no matter your background or skin color or culture or political point of views, whatever. Everybody is we're glad you're here.
We're clearly not just like in a Southern Baptist.
Yeah.
We only believe in the Republican. Versus, or like on the other side of like if only Kamala was president.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not that. It's just being like, hey, this is truth. This is what we believe Jesus is saying. This is where we're getting it from. Here are our sources. call us out if we're wrong.
Yeah.
And we're not going to speak on something that isn't black and white and try to make it black and white for our congregation's sake,
sure.
for them. So
Yeah.
it was really good lunch.
Really great conversation with them.
Really
and
fun.
they've got some people who have come to mind who are young adults. We also talked to them about, we've said it on this podcast, we went to the young adults group for Hope Fellowship a couple months ago and did not really vibe with it. It felt more college singles.
Well, it was like a notch down, a couple of notches down from where we're at.
Yes.
Relationally
and
wise.
It's like, truthfully, right now we either need young married couples or engaged serious couples or, you know, she loves you so much. She keeps looking at you with these like lovey-dovey eyes.
She's like, hello, Dad. I love hearing your voice. I don't know if that's what she's thinking, but she might be like, stop talking. I'm trying to clean myself.
But anyway, they had some people come to mind that they're going to point us to. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, y'all. These cats have been so distracting. But she just loves Atlas so much. It's so cute the way that she looks at him.
Oh, that is what I see. It's fun. But no, it's really good that they already have specific people that we could reach out to, or they could reach out to us. Vice versa, it doesn't matter. Our big thing right now is literally just finding, like, the minimum that I want, is having one or two couples, very similar life stages, either about to get married or just married a year or two in. And so that
20s.
we can, exactly, just running this life together. That's one thing that we talked about with my brother and his wife, that they love so much. They loved being able to have that community around them, because as they said, they're like, without that, they don't know where they'd be. And I think that's important, imperative. And because we've been raised by parents who have truly shown how big community is, and honestly, just seeing in our own lives with community, without community, what it looks like, it's very important. And I think to not have community is, like it says on some of these points, it's like, it's important that you have it. If you don't have it, you will probably fail, fall, stumble, and that's not what God wants you to do. You don't need to stumble and fall like that, at least not unnecessarily. And I think community really can stop you from stumbling and being confused in places where you don't need to be confused, which is unshocking.
For sure.
If you've been a Christian for 2 years or any amount of time, you're like, yeah, community makes a lot of sense. So.
Well, it's also like, we want people in our lives that are going to start having kids when we start having kids, and people who are going to be able to be ones we can lean on, who are also in professional careers and same sort of like age range as us. I want you to be able to go off with the guys one night and me to go off with the girls one night, and just like, I just want friends. I want us to have friends that are like-minded.
That have God at the center.
Yeah.
I think one thing that we talked about in our lunch, and we love all of our friends to death.
Oh my gosh, we love all of our friends to death.
I'd say we have a half and half Christian, half non-Christian.
And most of the Christians don't live near us, or the ones that live closest to us, Blake and Rosie, are Catholic.
Yeah.
And it's so helpful to have those friends that we can go get dinner with and to be able to talk about Jesus. But there are just some misalignments in what exactly we do believe to a T. And so it's like, we can't fully advise each other in a way that'll be fruitful on both ends. Yeah,
I think the ways that we do things, in the way, like the culture plus, I guess, traditions, don't necessarily align. Not saying it's right or wrong, but it is different. And I think it's a lot more helpful and just less frictiony if we can have that kind of community that is more non-denominational / Baptist leaning, so that we're not sitting there like, well, did you pray to Mary? And it's like, well,
no,
don't need to. Sorry. Not trying to start a fight here, but I think it's it's important. Like on the flip side, or on much farther side, it's like, if we're talking to our atheistic friends, and it's like, there's only so much advice or worldview that I can give, either listening on their end or my end, where it's like say they're talking about XYZ problem wise, or they're just talking about plans XYZ, and I'm like, I might not holistically agree with where you're going right now, but I know you're not wrong technically in your worldview. So anything I'm going to say is probably going to be deaf ears.
Yeah.
Versus if we're in the same community, same worldview, and say, I don't know, it's a young couple and they're like thinking about moving in with each other. I'd be like, hey, let's not do that.
Yeah.
Because in the Bible and a lot of statistics, I can tell you, it's not a smart idea.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Versus those who do not believe in Christianity or have a different view altogether. You can't really say that because you're not going to connect with a worldview that they subscribe to, because that's not what they subscribe to. So you have to be smart about that.
Yeah.
So that's what we want. That's what we're looking for. Praying for it. If you guys want to pray for that,
please pray for it.
That's the main thing for us right now.
Yeah.
Church-wise. But we love the church that we're looking at right now. Hoping to get more involved.
Yeah. This past week, you went and got lunch with my dad.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
But he had...
I respect her a lot.
My dad had so many meetings that day, and Atlas was one of them.
I felt very honored because I know your dad's a very busy man. He
will always make time for his son.
I appreciate it. It's something I don't take for granted, honestly. Especially knowing his schedule. I've seen it before. It's insane. And I got to talk to him specifically about what it looks like to grow my business, Atlas Narrative Media, and what things I can practically do. I've loved working with them as clients to honestly just help me support my business and to figure out what it means to be a better businessman instead of just being a videographer, which has been really awesome, an amazing learning experience. And just in general. And I told him, I want to work with more people like y'all, either builders, stagers, other window and door manufacturers, not trying to find other competition, but people in that realm of real estate, and definitely some agents as well, real estate agents, because I just love that. I love the way that works. It's a very simple and straightforward process. And I know that the value of high-end, I don't know what to call my videography. I guess just good-looking cinematography can be benefited from these listings versus, I don't know, like a sports game. It's like there's only so much you can do in certain avenues. I have found that you can get away with a lot, especially on social media, with a lot of different industries. But with houses, especially with luxury housing specifically, and housing in general, apartments and the like, you do need to give the best angle, show the property in the best light, so it feels as good as it possibly can be, so that you can sell it correctly and sell it well. And since I've known that, since I've seen that is a very beneficial thing in a lot of ways, I was able to go to him and be like, "This is where I actually do want to go. Like you're kind of the clientele that I really want to pursue, or at least very close to it. You would know them. What do I do?" And he was able to specify what I needed, or what I'm wanting to do with A&M, and how to go, and what the initial next steps look like going forward. It's just very clarifying for me. And Zach, if you're watching this, thank you so much. It's very helpful to have somebody next to me doing that. I've never really had that, honestly, because my business is pretty niche, and honestly, I can't think of any scenario where I've been able to have a person next to me doing similar entrepreneurial stuff.
And it's like your dad does have a lot of business experience,
tons.
But it's not the same as you specifically.
It's not startup stuff, I'll say. It's way more established stuff. He's a temporary CFO for a couple of companies, and you're talking in the millions and millions and millions of dollars, if not hundreds, if not billions. I don't think it's billions, but it's definitely hundreds of millions at the very top. Yeah. And it's hard to give advice to somebody like me, because it's like going from 0 to 1 is very different from like 1,000 to 2,000. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah. But it's a lot more, it's helpful to have a teacher like Zach, who I know literally went from didn't have any employees to having 20 or 30 under his belt and having a whole system around him.
Well, also moved to Texas to work under a home builder. Yeah. Did that for a couple years, then started his own home building company with the little knowledge that he had from the first. and then doing the same thing with Windows 20 years later.
Yeah.
So like literally Merge is 6 years old
And
this year.
doing relatively amazing, I'd say.
Yeah. I mean, we've been making over $1.5 million a month this year.
Which is insane. That's so beautiful. And I'm like...
And it's like growing it from just him in an office
from the bedrock,
space.
really, truly.
Yes.
With a ton of knowledge.
Trying to figure it out.
But with bedrock under him, and then being like, all right, let's build it. And I know God's like been heavily involved in this. It's a faith led company. So many things, but great people around him. But I'm like, I know that only so many people can do that and have done that. And to have that mindset, because I think entrepreneurship, even if they are in completely different industries, can, like, the advice can be pretty universal of like, well, if you're trying to make money, then you need this, this, and this. You need to figure out your baseline, figure out your expenses, you figure out your clientele, go for the clientele. It's like he was talking about things that I'm like, this is such actionable stuff that really puts it in my perspective of what the path looks like to get to where I'm defining where I want to go. And instead of me sitting there like, I don't know if I want it, I'm able to specify if it's worth it, and I believe it's still worth it for me to do it. And so I want to pursue it. And to have that kind of person next to me, just even like in the bits and pieces, and just having just one meeting, which he told me after, he's like, I want to do this regularly. I'm like, thank you. This would be so nice for you to be next to me. I don't know what I'm doing. Because I told her many times, I'm like, I am very new to this business stuff. I am not new to video or photo. I know how to do that well. I know how to direct people well. I know how to do it myself well. Business-wise, though, I'm very, I'm a novice, to say the least.
Yeah.
And I want to get as good as I am with video as I would like to be with business. And I think just having somebody that knows what he's doing is helpful to be next to you.
And fortunately, my dad is a shepherd at heart.
Oh, so yeah. He loves doing this.
This is so fueling for him to help you. So it's very fulfilling both ways, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, from there, y'all talked a lot about finances. It got you thinking about finances.
Oh, it got
the
gears turning.
And what did you kind of land on? I know you've been kind of doing some crunching.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's been really good. So we finally, for at least personally for me, I know you did this way earlier than me for a plethora of reasons, but we finally got past tax season for both of us. And so we got our tax returns back. I just save my taxes in a savings account because I'm a freelancer. And so whatever I don't have to pay to the government, I just throw it back to me. And now it's to us. So I've been able to disperse that to different accounts. So we're in a better place. We were kind of finding an edge that I don't think either of us wanted to. I will take the blunt of that. We shouldn't have been there, and that's totally on me.
Well, there was that, but there was also the fact that it didn't matter where we were at with the amount of income that was coming in every month. I was always putting aside a big chunk of money into savings, whether we liked it or not. And 100%. So I think we felt the weight of this was a more...
It was like...
we were spending the amount of money we normally would, but didn't have as much coming in this past month.
Yeah.
And so that weight of how much was out of the account and how much...
It just hits.
It was also Atlas's birthday. We also went on a trip. So there was there were a lot of things that were... I
think it was a lack of planning. It was a lack of planning on my end. And I definitely think we just could have done a little bit better stewardship so that we weren't there. And like, we're talking little things that started to become big things pretty quick. And so it wasn't like we were going bankrupt. We were just like, okay, we're kind of getting close to the end of these accounts right now. Do we need to start shifting where savings is?
We would have been absolutely fine.
We would have been quite okay. But it was like, you get close enough to the fire enough times, and you're just like, I feel like there's a better way to do this. Knowing full well, it's like we are making enough money that we don't necessarily have to be there. And so with that mindset, I'm like, I've been like, I'm restructuring where money goes for A&M wise for my business. And specifically getting to a place of solid foundation financially. How I've usually run A&M, and this was before Live, and still technically during us being together, but I'm trying to change it now. But before, I just had to support myself, and I just had to make a certain amount of money per month, and it was a pretty low amount because I had roommates, and I didn't go out much. Now that I'm with my wife, we have different ways we want to put the money. Specifically with buying a house, doing some trips, making sure that we're investing, making sure that we're tithing, certain things that like I would like to make the case that adults do with money, or good financially responsible adults.
It's so tough because it's like we are at this young age where it's like we have so many things that we want to go do while we're young and alive and free and don't have kids and can, like, we could leave and go to Europe tomorrow if we had the money for it.
Oh, 100%.
Like 1,000%.
Yeah. But is that smart?
Yeah. But at the same time, we are young. We are just starting everything. We don't want to be renting the rest of our lives.
Agreed.
We want to be able to build Atlas a studio eventually.
Yeah.
And so, like, one of our biggest goals is to save up at least enough for a down payment for a house, and then also to build on that same property.
Yeah.
And so it's like thing after thing after thing.
And it's also like
thing.
we're thinking of kids. We want that to happen in probably the next 5 years.
The reason we want a house is so that each of our kids can have a room, and we will just like literally, this will be the house.
This is the thing.
It's not one of those in between houses. It's going to be the house we will stay in.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people. You've dealt with this too. Me and Atlas were those kids that just kept moving and moving and moving and moving and moving.
Oh yeah.
And
so much.
For me, it was because my dad was a home builder, and he'd build a new house, and then he'd
that would make sense, honestly.
Yeah.
Annoying, but it's true.
Yeah. Atlas's parents have rented most of their lives.
Well,
Isn't that true?
No, well, not at least not when
most of your life.
Not when I've been alive. They bought.
Okay.
They've just utilized the equity in those houses to either throw that to other houses or save that, rent, and then go to another house.
It was also a lot of duplexes and stuff too, which is confusing to me because that used to, in my mindset, when it's not in Highland Park, a duplex is not seen as something of value, really.
No.
It's like the bottom barrel. It's like you have an apartment and then there's a duplex, which is above that. Then there's a townhouse.
Yeah. But when you're in a higher income area, duplexes are quite nice.
Yeah, they're very nice.
They're quite cool.
Yeah.
They're made well.
Yeah. So they didn't have like a house
no.
until
it was
Drexel.
It was my high school career when I first went into high school. And by the way, like super blessed with the upbringing that I've had. Like my dad's been very blessed to be well off, wealthy, to be able to build up that business for so many reasons. Like I do not take it for granted. But we did move a lot. And I did not necessarily appreciate that. And so if we could, and obviously it's totally up to God, wherever he wants us to be. But if we have a choice here, a preference, we'd like to just find a forever home, or at the very least, a many decade long home, and just go from there and really build it out, have some fun with it. Not necessarily a fixer-upper, but something that we could make it our own, have fun with it.
Yeah.
And so
something that we both agree on, which I'm so glad, because you could be very pompous, but you're not.
That's very true.
But
I ain't pompous in ways.
Yeah.
don't sell me short now. I can be pompous.
But when it comes to houses, we're both like, there's no need for us to have anything extra.
No, I just want to feel safe in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I want to have enough space that I'm not just like back to back.
Like, we'd like all of our kids to have their own rooms, but we do not by any means need 3 guest bedrooms. We do not by any means need a bathroom for each bedroom.
Yeah.
We don't
desire a mansion, but we don't desire a cardboard box.
Yeah.
So wherever the middle is for that, that's where we want.
Yeah. And it's like any of the cool things that we'd want would be in Atlas's annex.
Yeah,
and that's
basically.
Yeah. It's like if we want a theater, it'll be in Atlas's annex.
It will be in the extra house right there.
Yeah. So
just being smart and cordial with money. But to do any of that, you got to have cash. You got to have an influx of cash. And so we have to be smart and cordial with where that money goes. And that's what we want to do. We want to be smart. We want to be God honoring with where those finances go. We want to be giving with what we have. And you can't be giving without excess on some level or trust and some kind of plan. And I that's where I kind of kept going to. After that meeting, I moved the money into the accounts where it needed to be. We're much better now. And mentally, I was like, all right, I went to like Gemini, like a little like chat GPT basically. And I was like, this is where I'm at. I want to buy gear, but I know I shouldn't buy gear. This is the expenses that I have. What should I do? And it was basically like, the rest of this year, you should be thinking about having the emergency fund for A&M. And if you making sure that you're renting gear out as much as you possibly can. And if you rent it out enough, think about buying it, put aside money, make sure you have enough money coming in. and just be building that business so that you're not sitting there just buying things and burning through cash, hoping for business, which I know a lot of us videographers have a problem with. We like to buy gear. And so that was a pretty great revelation, and I've been very happy with it. It's really interesting to mature. It's really cool.
Well, I think it's so cool. I've never had so much in savings.
Right. No, it's awesome.
Like ever before.
Quite nice.
Because usually I'll get to a couple $1,000s in savings, and then whatever I was saving up for, I throw it to it.
Oh yeah. Because you're not rooting for anything. There's no plan.
Yeah. Or I'll have $1,000 in an emergency fund, and then an emergency will happen. It'll be depleted, and then I'll fill it back up again.
And you got to get some new tires or some crap like that. And you're like, what am I supposed to do now?
But like since us getting married, we've put $7,000 into a savings account, and it's
super happy, super proud of us on that.
It's been 4 months now.
Not long. Not long at all.
So that means if we keep up with that same kind of rate, by the end of the year, we'll have over $20,000 in our savings account that we've added since being married, which is insane. But
and like we said before,
we just got to keep that up for 3 more years, and then we have a down payment.
And then
for
we're
our
here.
house.
It's like
so it's.
To put into those practical steps, and you see that growth so quickly.
Yeah.
At least for me personally, it was very motivating, because I'm like, okay, well, if we're doing this now, what if I was actually like doing good in the business part of this whole thing?
Yeah.
That'd be really cool if I could do my job a little bit more consistently than I've been able to do in the past. And so that's been my mindset. I want to make sure that I obviously keep up with Zach, do the things. It's simple. It is hard, but it's something I definitely want to pursue. It's something I've talked to her about multiple times, where I'm like, if I do give it my best shot and it just doesn't work, then I'm okay to pivot careers. Like I don't have too much pride in this, but I know I haven't really given it my all, especially in the professional sense. And I just want to make sure that I'm giving God all my effort, so that if he wants to bless, he can. And if he doesn't want me to be here, it'll be very obvious, at least I hope it to be, so that if I need to go somewhere else, pivot, go wherever I need to be, then I will. So that I can support this family the best way I know how. Instead of just being like, well, it doesn't work. It's like, well, you didn't even go and knock on anybody's door. Nobody knows about you. Why would they hire you? They don't know you. So that's the big thing that I want to figure out. Leads is my big thing right now. Yeah. So it's a great talk.
We're figuring it out, y'all. It's gonna... I think it's going to be a good thing. I think it's good that me and Atlas talk about these kinds of things. I've also, since me and Atlas being married, I've upped my contribution to my 401k. I've maxed it out at Merge, as well as my health savings account. So that's awesome for any time we have any sort of medical expenses.
The health savings account's really awesome.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It's all covered, and it's not any money that we see leaving. It just comes out of my paycheck before I even receive it, which is awesome.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So we've got... We don't have an unexpected $200 coming out for a dentist appointment or anything like that. So
we're not hurting in that way, which is really helpful.
There's a lot of things that I think we're doing really well. And I think we're also doing well at not limiting ourselves so much that we feel like we can't live and breathe and go out and do things.
Can't go to Roadhouse every once in a while. We're not doing such a far thing. Because I think at a certain point too, this is my thing about saving. It's like you can only save so much. Yeah. You do die in the end. Yeah. So it's like, obviously also, don't spend your whole paycheck at like Roadhouse. But it's like you could die tomorrow. You could die. It's like, make sure go to Six Flags, you know? Yeah,
make sure that whatever life that you're living, that you are fulfilled by it.
And you're not just grabby with money. That's another thing that we've talked about too. So that we're not just like, well, we have $1 million in the bank account. Let's just keep on saving. It's like, what?
Well, that's the thing. Like if either of us were to die tomorrow, I don't think either of us would be upset that we have this much money in our savings account.
No.
But it will be nice
we
for if
regret.
we do get to the point where we are still here and thriving and we're needing a house because I'm pregnant or something like that, then it's like, at least we'd have
you have option at that point.
To stand on.
You're not cornered. And the great thing too is that even if we don't have the cash, we do have family that would support us in that way. So it's like there's so many blessings around us that it's like it's really awesome that it just seems it's just really good. It's just really good. Yeah. Some dogs are barking outside right now, and Willow is just a little scared or aware. I can't tell anymore. But yeah, that's where we're at finances wise. I just hope and pray that God, not necessarily just provides, but just guides us where we need to be. I think God has done a lot with people that have very little, and I've seen God use or not use people that have a lot because they don't want to use their money for good. And so I don't want to be on that side. I want to be on this side where he's like, we are flush with cash, but we're also not flush because it's going out the door to the people that need it, And so all that to say, I don't want to be too greedy with the cash, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we're going to be seriously talking about that this next week, which is why we brought it up. We had a couple of things that this sermon specifically stirred up inside of us. And that's one of them, that Atlas was feeling heavy on his heart last week, even more so today. And so, we're hopefully going to be digging in the Ramsey stuff, putting some pen to paper, figuring out how much Atlas needs to make for us to, be more comfortable. It's also so weird because we'll never make the same amount any month because my commission changes month to month and Atlas's income changes month to month.
It could be 0, it could be 10,000. It really, it's in between.
But like our tithing is going to change month to month. Our, there's never going to be a set number month to month. So we're just trying to figure it out.
Not a problem. God's got us, always.
That's the finance talk.
Finances are happening. We'll let you know soon.
On another note, kind of pertaining to finances, we've been trying to, or at least I think you've seen this with me, trying to be more aware of what I actually need versus don't just want.
Like in what way?
In the sense of like last week with the that vinyl.
Oh, yeah.
I bought Atlas a vinyl for his birthday, and it was a little bit of a selfish purchase.
It was a very cool vinyl. It was very, very rare vinyl.
It was a couple $100s, and it was one that me and him have talked about in the past before. I thought it would be a cool gift to get him. But after I got it, I realized that there wasn't a lot of purpose for it besides just the fulfillment of having it. And
I think we would have gotten just as much fulfillment if we could have just seen it in person.
Yeah, listen to it.
Which
we did. We did, and I resold it. This past week, and so
we got all the fulfillment we could.
Yeah, we got all the fulfillment that we needed from it, and that was really awesome. But just things like that. I mean, I even talked to him about like trying to sell other things in the storage unit that we have right now, which is something like that. And another thing is just like the little things being prideful and stern about, like me having Spotify and you having Apple. That is a very small expense difference, but it is pretty significant going for a family plan and Apple versus both of us having individual plans in Apple and
Spotify.
Talking
about $5 a month can become $60 a year, and it's not like intensely big. And I told her multiple times, I was like, you do not have to switch. Like, it's okay. I like Apple Music more personally. I'm sorry. But you can like Spotify more. It's all good. It's no worries. But she took the initiative. She was like, no, we are going to be an Apple Music family. And I'm like, okay.
We made it.
Which I think
Apple
came from,
family
that's what I was about to say, is like it came from, I would like to make the case, it stemmed from, or at least convicted both of us to be like, we made an Apple family. So I left my Apple. It sounds so weird, but this is how they name it. But it's like I was part of my Apple family, the Scott family, since I've had a phone. And now that we are making our own family, we've literally made an Apple family for ourselves. And once we got into that, we saw that you could, share purchases and specifically subscriptions. And for Apple Music, I want to say the individual is like $11 or $12 a month, and the family version is $16. So not that much of a difference to have a whole family to be able to have Apple Music, which I thought it was like, that's really cool. And if you want to do it, let's do it.
Spotify just keeps upping their prices.
Keep doing that. It's a whole thing. But with that mindset, she was like, let's just do the full thing. Let's be kosher. Let's be the same. Which I thought was really cool. We're just
kind of trying to be more aware of that. I think next steps as well, when we're doing financial balancing this next week, is figuring out how to separate Atlas from his parents, because he still pays his car insurance and phone bill to his parents.
Car insurance, phone bill, and toll tag. We just got to get that to my side.
We just got to get it over.
And then,
to us.
like, I'm still paying for everything that's mine, you know. But it's going through them because it's under their account. It's a whole thing.
Technically, my phone is under my parents.
Sure.
It's like just the flipping of all of that.
It's just little
just
stuff.
Us.
But it's just the leaving and cleaving. We want to be able to just be the grown adult children that's separated financially, but relationally intertwined with our families.
Yeah.
So that we're not sitting there like, because my mom, every time in like the middle of the month, she'll be like, "Hey, I'm okay to like move over because I'm still connected bank account wise." She still sees and is able to move money from my bank account to her bank account, I guess, to her and my dad's bank account. And she's like, "Good to move the phone bill and insurance." And like, kind of sitting there like, I'm already married.
Yeah.
This feels weird, guys. And they were 100%. We talked about this with my parents specifically. They're like, yeah, let's do it. Let's leave them clean. Let's do it.
We need to take your parent or your mom specifically off of your account as well.
I meant to do that months ago, but because of the freeze that we had,
it got rescheduled. And pushed off. It was pushed off. Yeah. So here we are.
Life gets busy. It is what it is.
We're figuring it out, and we're going to get there. So
we will get there.
Promise. Yeah. We also have consumed a lot of media this past week.
Bunch of media.
I kind of want to start with Love is Blind, which is something that we started watching. So I was kind of wanting one of those like brain dead shows to watch that you could kind of have on in the background. But me and Atlas like to talk hot goss that has nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
And so I was like, it would be fun to do Love is Blind. I've seen girls and their boyfriends or husbands watch it, and it's just like you get to talk about these people and like how you feel about the decisions they've made. And I told Atlas, like, let's watch one. He was kind of against it at first.
I was like, I don't know, man.
Yeah. And I was like, let's watch one episode and see what we think. And now
I'm like pushing for it every night. Like, let's watch it, guys.
He's like, can we watch Love is Blind?
I gotta know what's happening with Cole and what's happening with that ballerina thing.
Yeah. Yeah, but we've been enjoying watching that, and
we got to pick. They do different cities for each season, and the season that we chose was Dallas, which is season 3. Yeah, and we thought that was really cool. We're like, hey, we're in Dallas,
so we're watching Dallas, so that's fun. Yeah. But that's where we're at right now. I also finished Breaking Bad this week.
Yeah, big news right there.
Yeah.
Every time she would text me a little bit of an update of where she's at, mostly about her not liking Skylar, which fair.
Yeah.
Nobody really likes Skylar, which I don't think anybody should, in my opinion. But but she got to finish it finally. And what do you think about it? Did you like it?
It was a great TV show.
Yeah.
It was an amazing TV show. I when I see people on my For You page saying like, these are the TV shows I've watched, give me recommendations, I always jump in there and put Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. Because you'd always see Breaking Bad, and now you're like, I can say Breaking Bad.
Yeah, now I can say Breaking Bad because it's a really great show. I would recommend. Yeah, I was not somebody to hop on the Breaking Bad train when I was in high school or college or after college. And
it took a while. It took me being in your life and Brooks. Both of us.
Even it took me starting it and being like, and then me going back to it being like, honestly, I'm going to watch it. Yeah, and it was really great. It paid off. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's Brooks and I's, I want to say it's both of our favorite TV shows, if not very favorite TV shows.
It's really great. Vince Gilligan
kills it. We got to watch Pluribus before. I want to say you started Breaking Bad again, at least. And I remember when I heard that Vince Gilligan was making a new show, and it was the show Pluribus on Apple TV, I was like, let's go. And I don't think you necessarily understood why I was so excited for it.
Yeah.
And I believe now you kind of understand where my mindset was, where I was like, the way that he does TV shows and the way that he has the crew around him, the writers around him, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I trust him. And so anyways, I was like, I get it. And I believe you got it at that point.
Yeah.
Once you finished Breaking Bad, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Game knows game. Let's go.
Yeah. So now we're on to El Camino, which we started but haven't finished yet.
Yeah. Got like 20 minutes in. I think.
And then I'll do Better Call Saul after that. So
I'm curious to see if she likes Better Call Saul more or less than Breaking Bad.
Right now, I'm like, it has to be Breaking Bad. Right. But I also have just
I love both shows. I think they're both different vibes, personally.
I think about the characters in Breaking Bad, and I love them so much. Yeah. And I know Mike's in Better Call Saul.
Yes.
Which he is my favorite character
Mike
from
Trout.
Breaking Bad.
What's up?
Yeah. But also...
Herman Trout, sorry.
Yeah, I was like...
Almost there.
Yeah, but I'm curious to see... Saul's story and how he's gotten to where he's at and where he goes after the events of Breaking Bad as well.
Yeah. It's really cool. It gets both ends, for sure.
But there was that. We also went and saw Project Hail Mary this past week. Atlas was like, we don't need to be spending extra money. And I was like, we've been wanting to see this for a while. And he was like, what if we wait till our April Cinemark credits kick in? And I was like, but there are like 3 other movies we want to see coming out in April anyway.
Because Michael Jackson's coming out in April. And I was like, you are making a lot of good points
And I want to go see that, the drama with Robert Pattinson and Zendaya.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things coming out next month that we want to see.
So she made the good point that we should just watch it. And so we did. And I had heard so many good things about it that I was like, really?
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, I also, the trailers as I was seeing them, because y'all know, we've been going to the movies so much over the past couple of months.
Since we got the membership.
But as we were in the theater, every time we'd see that trailer pop up, I'd turn to Atlas and be like, this doesn't seem that good to me.
I always was like, this could be good. It was just cheesy to me. It was definitely cheesy made, for sure.
The trailer was so based on Rocky and
the Ryan Gosling character.
Grace.
Mary, or jeez.
Rocky and Grace's relationship.
Rocky and Grace. Yeah.
Yeah, and it just seemed so like.
It just seemed so cookie cutter. We were just like, this is just going to be a buddy movie. And he'll find, like, he found friendship with just a rock, and it'll be so good. And
it was so good. And then, I loved how
3/4 into it, I almost cried. I was like, what is this?
Yes.
What is happening right now? It's a rock.
It was also like the majority of the first half of the movie, he wasn't even introduced. It was just rising action.
No, I loved it.
To that point.
Yeah, no, it was
And
great.
I also loved the structure. I love movies like this where it's like you've basically got 2 timelines, but it's the same timeline. It just stops at one point and the other gets stacked on top of the
puzzle pieces.
Yes. And so it's like you start to piece together how he got here, why he's in this place now, why it's so significant, and then by the end of it, it makes complete sense.
Yeah.
And I love stories like that much.
It was quite beautifully edited.
That's why I push so hard for Oblivion to have the structure that it does, because that's the kind of feeling that you get from structures like that. Story-wise.
Just the whole GOD movie in general. Like, I love the non-linearness to it all.
Yes.
It's really cool. It's really awesome. I think it's a really cool way to tell stories if you do it right. It's awesome. If you do it wrong, it's confusing.
I thought it was a great movie, though.
Yeah. And very well shot. Yes. I love the cinematography. I'm actually going to go see it again in 70 millimeter IMAX because we have that in Dallas for some reason.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. Getting to see it on Wednesday. So, and I was just like, it's the same cinematographer that did the Dune movies, and I want to say Rogue One, and I've just loved how those looked. And so I was like, throughout the entire movie, I was like, I love the grade. I love the shots. This is cool. Not shocked, but like, this is really cool.
The storyline was really good. And like, it gripped me.
Yeah. Gosling did a great job.
Oh my gosh. I was thinking the entire time as we were watching it, like, this acting is insane that you have. It's kind of like the same thing as Markiplier's movie.
Oh, sure.
Iron Lung.
Yeah.
But just you have to grip me if you're going to be the only character in this ship.
Yeah. 100%.
You have to make me care deeply if you're the only human in this ship.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
And Ryan Gosling, he did an amazing job. I love Ryan Gosling. I love him for a lot of things that he's done.
La La Land, Crazy Stupid Love. I like that one.
Fall Guy.
Barbie. A lot more than all of what we're saying
Notebook.
Right now. Yeah.
so much. But
he's been around the block a little bit.
Yeah. And anyway, I just think he did an amazing job. This showed a complete different side of him and his acting, I think, as well.
I think it was all the strong points that he has as an actor.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the one thing. It's like you said, if you put it on all on one actor, it either works or it does not work. And I was like, when they chose him for this role, or at least seeing him in the trailer, I was like, maybe he'll be able to do it, because it seemed like it was just going to be about him. He killed it. I don't think he did anything wrong.
Such a good job.
I think he did an amazing job.
I've seen a lot of TikTok reviews saying that they feel very similar emotion with Project Hail Mary as they do to Interstellar, but Interstellar is family heavy and Hail Mary is friendship heavy.
Friendship and they're both sacrificial though. I think that's a big thing.
Well, but friendship and love and care is so sacrifices. I think you see a lack of sacrifice in Interstellar.
I think like ultimate permanent sacrifice, because I think Matthew McConaughey's character Cooper, he does a lot, and there's like a lot of quote unquote sacrifice. He doesn't get to see. He's
saying he's going there to save, to
like literally sacrifice himself in a black hole, but then he gets out of the black hole.
Better. To save Earth and whatever.
Yeah.
But his ultimate goal is to get back there.
Yeah.
But it's honestly selfish what he
at the end of the movie,
to do.
For sure.
And it's very, very bittersweet.
Yeah.
Like,
but this Hail Mary,
decisions were
it was center
everything.
Based. It was centered around you.
Yeah.
But Ryan Gosling's character, Grace, not to spoil anything, but it's ultimate sacrifice, I'd say.
Well, he's very selfish. He's a very selfish character.
Yeah.
And somehow he breaks through all of that, and the character development of his character throughout that movie. And you see it with the flipping back and forth between Grace before he went to space and Grace, now on
the spaceship.
Mary. Yeah. But just the heavy difference between those two different dynamics of him and who he is, and not wanting to be there. And, but also just how his life didn't have much of a purpose before he was on this spaceship, besides being a teacher and just being alive. And he valued his own life more than the entire Earth's.
Yeah.
Which is insane. He would have rather died with the entire Earth after
than potentially saving it.
Yeah, after 30 years.
Talk about an arc.
Instead of saving it.
Hail Mary.
Yeah, but I thought it was really amazing, the absolute dynamic shift in his character.
Oh yeah, well
it was
really
insane.
Had to. It really was great. For a lot of reasons, I highly recommend it. Hopefully, that didn't spoil anything.
Yeah, but there was also a lot of parts where you were like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh, I did not think this would happen. And then the payoff was great. Every
amazing.
Time. They did a great job.
Quite a move, if I do say so myself.
They did all of the gut-wrenching things that make your heart drop.
Oh yeah.
And then they came back and saved it. But not in a way that made it feel like that wasn't rewarded. Do you know what I mean when I say that? Anyway. But yeah, I really loved Project Hail Mary.
Pretty sick.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
In other news, I started listening to some audiobooks this past week. I've always enjoyed reading, but it's very time consuming. Same thing with how I've always enjoyed walking, but it's very time consuming. And what I've started doing is letting books play in my headphones instead of having a movie or a YouTube video or whatever on in the background while I'm at work. And I've gotten through 2 books this past week, which is crazy. But I read The Body by Stephen King, which is what the movie Stand By Me was based on, with the boys in the 60s who find a body. And then I also read 13 Reasons Why, the book series, and which is very different from the TV show, which I was pretty grateful of. But it's all for research for
our movie.
Yeah, the GOD movie. I think it's important to get other people's stories as something to go off of. But yeah, now I'm reading the Chronicles of Narnia. I'm going to go book 1 to 7, which they're also coming out with a new Chronicles of Narnia series later this year, which I'm so excited to see that remake. Yeah.
Well, they didn't finish the other one.
No, they didn't.
It's tough
so hopefully they'll finish this one.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah. But I don't think we've talked about this on here, but Narnia is part of our movie.
It's a pretty integral part of the movie. It's not obvious until the end.
Yes.
I'd say.
which is so random, but it's just a piece of media that these two characters have bonded
It's
over.
happening, though.
Yeah.
It's happening.
So I'd like to be have a lot of knowledge on that series specifically to see if there's anything we can pull from quote-wise or just, material-wise. So that's kind of my plan there. But yeah, last night we got to go hang out with
Anthony, the girls, Clay, Fran, and Blake and Rosie, and Nate.
so many people. But we just went to the house on Princess, and it was
a dope time.
It was such a fun time.
I lost my voice a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was really cool. It
had been a while.
We hadn't seen them in a bit, and Anthony reached out to us a week or two ago.
Sweet.
He was like, "Guys, we gotta hang out. We gotta make it happen," which I always appreciate friends doing that.
Yeah.
I hate it when people are too in their own heads and they're like, well, they don't want to hang out with me because they're not talking to me. It's like, well, maybe I actually want to hang out with you. I might just be a little bit busy with life and things. So if you want to reach out, let me know.
But we kept rescheduling, and then we just didn't put anything on the books. And then on Friday, I called Atlas when work was about to be over, and I was like, do you want me to text Anthony? I realized that we don't have anything going on tonight or tomorrow. He was like, yeah. And so, it was a great night. We had a good time. A lot of good conversations when we're over there, as always.
Oh, yeah.
Feels like stepping into another world when you go into that house.
It really is different. It's very different right there. Yeah. But it was fun. It was great to see them. It was so beautiful, so loving, so joyous and gracious, and so many things. It's fun to hang out with them.
Agreed.
Unshockingly. But that's why they're in our lives. And I hope to be in their lives for a very long time.
Yeah.
But anyways, right now we're about to go because we're at near.
Do we gotta go soon?
We're nearing at that point, to my parents to go get dinner. Like I said before, to celebrate me and just honestly just hang out with them for a bit.
Yeah, and I think the last time we saw them was end of February.
Probably.
I think so.
It's been just enough time. we gotta.
Unfortunately, it's becoming more of a once a month kind of thing with Atlas's parents. Hopefully, we can get onto a better schedule. We were trying to do it in every other week kind of thing, but we've all been busy. So
keep doing things. Keep getting busy. What is this?
Yeah, we're excited to see them and hang out with them.
Goofy.
And catch up with them. So
it'll be fun. It'll be good.
It's gonna be good.
But anyways, love y'all. And we'll talk to you in the next one. Anyways, I'm gonna turn off right here because Willow is on my lap.